The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.
Hello and welcome to another Soccer to the Max weekend edition. And of course that means the full cast is here. I'm your host Sean Garmer, here with me of course Miss Rachael McKriger. Glad to have you along as always.
Glad to be here.
And just coming straight back from a banquet, so she's all super, she's had her, dress moment. She's had her nice dinner, ready to talk about the play on the field or on the pitch.
Actually, about that, I got an award tonight that I didn't expect to get. So if I'm discombobulating my words, it's because I had to give a very unanticipated and totally last minute speech that I completely pulled out of my, So there's
what
that.
Award did you win?
It's I coach basketball. I have been for the last 3 years at my old grade school, and they gave me this award called the Spirit Award, which goes to an alumni person, and I got it this year.
Wow, that's awesome. See,
Yeah,
we have an award winner on our channel now. See how that works, Erik. One of these days, that will be you too. You'll be winning awards.
Well, I mean, I am getting new gigs and stuff. I have some things lined up, and yeah, if I could win an award for preserving my sanity through running around and writing and watching and doing all kinds of stuff for this weekend, I'll take that. And maybe some leftovers from that banquet.
It was good.
Well, hey, you know what? Just keeping your life on track sometimes is a job in itself. So.
Oh, and you know what I'm going up against. That's all I'm going to say.
And if not, you can listen to the new podcast that Erik has, Point of Viewer. Make sure you check it out, people. You definitely get a slice of Erik if you don't get enough on this show.
Hopefully with a la mode, maybe some whipped cream. That depends.
So let's get into the soccer talk here. We do have some MLS expansion to talk about because St. Louis lost their stadium bid, and so there's sort of been an update on how the other teams are doing. We even got a grand entrance for Mr. Didier Drogba into Phoenix and everything. The big superstar that he is. So we'll get to talk about all that. Of course, also MLS. There hasn't really been a whole lot to talk about as far as news-wise from either from the previous show or the midweek. So that's kind of be the bulk of our show aside from discussing the weekend in NWSL and MLS. So I guess we should get into the MLS action, which Minnesota just ended their game about an hour and a half ago with a win, 1-0 at home against Colorado. Big goal by Miguel Ibarra. Jubilation all around. Colorado just... you can't say Dominic Badgie wasn't trying, because he sure had so many opportunities over there. I don't know about everybody else. And at least you can't blame Mr. McMath on this one. It's definitely not his fault here, but I don't know. What you guys think?
Minnesota needed this win. I'm even going to spare my accent for the week because I was ready to ridicule how can you draw or lose to a team like Colorado, especially with the Wild being knocked out of the playoffs in the first round, but out of nowhere, the blind squirrel got their first acorn. That's the best way I could say it. I mean, congrats, loons. Wow, the words coming out of my mouth are weird.
And we thought Rachael was going to be the discombobulated one. Technically, I think Minnesota's won already.
Oh, true,
Yeah.
but
I was confused with that myself. I was like, why are they not celebrating this in like a bigger deal? And I was like, oh, they won already. They beat somebody that I don't remember them beating. But
yeah, so it's just like, huh?
Colorado, though, they keep having issues with scoring, period.
I want to give Zach McMath the benefit of the doubt and say, I want to sit him down and be like, hey, Zach, you did such a nice job before Timmy Howard came in, and you did such a good job, but what are you doing? Where's your head? Why is it up your butt right now? Come on. I mean, the Loons scored against you. The Loons!
That's not,
Look,
I mean, it was like a double header. I mean, those aren't the easiest
Loons.
things.
I don't know. I can't refute her logic on this one. I really can't.
I gotta blame his back line. Minnesota actually looked good
Competent?
going forward and won a game. Like, I mean,
and why did Colorado, and again, they are bringing shame to the yellow jerseys. Why did they wait that long to go 5 in the back? If they were going to, it's like, if they're looking that good going forward, shouldn't you kind of shore that up a bit sooner?
sometimes, though, when you're missing players, like the ones you traded away, it's kind of a little bit difficult.
Well, yeah, but then you park the bus and you hope for at least a scoreless draw. You don't do something stupid and then you realize, hey, we made a mistake. Come on, Colorado. I know it was 420 this week, but you've recovered. You've recovered now, okay?
Yes, some people did look a little bit out of it, certainly. But hey, you know what? Minnesota winning. Look, it's good for the league that Minnesota wins, right? You don't want a team just totally looking like trash.
Yeah,
the
but you
whole
expect
season.
them to be miserable. I mean, look at when the Ottawa Senators came into the NHL 25 years ago. They won 10 games that season, but nobody really cared because it was hockey back in Ottawa.
Well, you know a team that Minnesota is above in the standings right now? The LA freaking Galaxy. You want to talk about a team that looked like were the Galaxy even playing on the field?
No.
I didn't even know that they existed on the pitch. I thought that Seattle was playing themselves in this game. That's what it looked like, because they couldn't do anything until like about the last 10 minutes of the game. Seattle was just absolutely owning them. Clint Dempsey, again, scoring. Jordan Moore scoring.
An own goal.
Yeah. An own goal. That just sums up the whole evening for the Galaxy. You let in an own goal. You can't do anything.
Yes, and to think, all of that happened within the first, half an hour? After that, Seattle was like, wow, we can stop caring. We've got this. Scrimmage!
Right, it's the same thing like Will Bruin misses that opportunity he probably should have buried. You know, if they weren't up 3-0 at that point, somebody would have been screaming at him, but, at that, it's so interesting how they put him in the game and Seattle plays so well.
They're lost without Bruce, though. Like Los Angeles, they're so lost without Bruce Arena.
Even recycled jerseys couldn't help them today.
For shame.
Recycled jerseys, certainly didn't. Hey, they helped one team, so LA. They didn't do too well. Again, Dos Santos looks like, they even mentioned it in the game, and that's kind of sad. Like, Dos Santos is just, he's not the leader. He's the guy that plays well with with a Robbie Keane, with somebody else that can outright score. He just can't.
Okay, but that's the question. if Dos Santos isn't the leader, if he isn't the number one, if he's not the guy, who is?
Well, it's supposed to be Zlatan Ibrahimovic apparently, but he's not going to be playing.
I'm going to reserve my Manchester United bias aside and gonna walk away from that. No.
Wait, no, you can't do that and then not say it. Come on now.
I mean, okay. Let me put it like this. And we were talking about this before we came on air.
Well, just in case somebody's listening and has no idea, Zlatan Ibrahimovic tore his ACL and his MCL. What is he, like 37?
Close to it. And I've been seeing this guy for years. And
didn't he have a knee injury like that before for like a World Cup or something? Or a Euro? So he's already gotten a serious injury.
I don't know, because, I mean, for Sweden, well, they're Sweden, so there's that. But I know for a lot of time, and especially for the longest time, his big stigma was he does fantastic in league matches, but always playing on great teams and being in the Champions League, he, for the most part, disappeared. Now, when I saw that he had made the move to United, I was like, it was kind of weird, but I could dig it. And then he's playing like a house on fire, and it's like, hey, United's back to being themselves. Then this happens, and I'm like, yeah, well, there goes Europe for the season. And now I'm hearing he's going to MLS. Bad enough I have one guy on one team wearing a number 9 that could potentially break my heart. Now there's 2? It's like, no. The football gods are on the verge of forsaking me if this happens.
Well, I mean, I guess he was going to be the answer, but it's like, now what do you do? Who's out there for them to go, all right, let's go get him to get some scoring. They went all young, and then it hadn't panned out.
Well, that's what happens when you go with an all-young team. The LA Sports are starting to do that a bit more often.
Yeah, I kind of feel bad for. I mean, I have a few friends that are Galaxy fans, so I feel bad for them when I see them just play like this. And look, Seattle's one of the better teams in the league, obviously, but you know, this was it was poor, just absolutely poor from them. And next week they get a team that had been poor. I mean, they're still pretty poor defensively. But they scored 3 goals in this game against Montreal. They play the Philadelphia Union next week.
And, of course, in Philadelphia fashion, they blew it.
Yep, they absolutely blew it. What was that guy's name we were talking about in the midweek, Erik? A certain Ignacio Piatti.
That
he
was
just
the one.
Blew by 20 guys and scored by himself.
Yeah, it's like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do dance, hey, I'm going to pull these salsa moves, oh look, I'm going to score. And there's nothing that you can do about it. And we're going to come back in this game. And the Union pretty much said, oh, fine. We didn't really want to win this season anyways. Why not now?
I think it's because Alejandro Bedoya cut his hair.
Or Alejandro Bedoya. Yep, it's either that or Alejandro Bedoya is playing defensive midfielder, which, who told him he could do that?
Somebody, someone, somewhere, again, maybe 420, maybe
have we ever seen him play defensive mid? Because I haven't.
No, I haven't. I mean, okay, one experiment for one team may seem to be working with Graham Zusi. That doesn't give the right for everybody to try to play chess with these people. It don't work like that.
Well, it's like because they have, what's the guy from Israel? Medudjanin or whatever. He's basically trying to be Pirlo, but he has nobody behind him. So he's just a complete and utter liability every time he's out there. Yeah, great, he can pass the ball, and I mean they had some, Alberg looked fine out there, and they got it to a 3-0 lead. You don't do that by circumstance, but still, it's like, hello, somebody's got to cover these guys.
Yeah, you get to a 3-0 lead, that's one thing. Keeping a 3-0 lead is completely different.
I gotta say, it was really cool to hear Tommy Smith on commentary again, though.
It was.
So, props to Philly over there for signing him, and you got a heck of a duo there, JP De La Camera and Tommy Smith. That's
if only they could call matches for a team that was better than what, 0-4-3?
Yeah, they're the only winless team in MLS.
Ugh.
Wait, what were you saying earlier, Rachel? The Loons, they have wins.
The Union.
What's wrong? What's wrong with you? Apparently, I've heard that the owner doesn't really care about the team. He's just waiting for the...
Wait a minute. No. Listen here, owner of Philadelphia. Don't make me sick the Sons of Ben on you. Not caring about soccer teams is a New England thing. Stop it. You're more respectable than that.
He's waiting for the value to keep rising on the team so he can cash out, is what I saw.
Yeah, you know what helps the value rise for a team? Winning!
I thought you were going to give him the definition of winning with
Look, the tiger blood ran out of my veins on Friday, okay? I can't go full-blown Charlie Sheen on him.
Oh, my.
Oh, God. I don't know how we're... Man, we're going to sink to a new low talking about Charlie Sheen here, so...
Well, hey, it's either Charlie Sheen. I would say something nice about cheesesteaks, but on hearing that news, they don't deserve that. So what are you going to do?
What does cheesesteaks have to do with it?
Cheesesteaks, Philadelphia. Come on now.
I know. And I'm just saying, like, that's a delicacy over there. You got to treat that with respect, you know.
And I do treat that with respect. That's why I'm not saying anything whatsoever. I was going to treat it with even more respect. And I may or may not be saying this because I might be hungry. But that's irrelevant right now.
Don't do podcasts on an empty stomach, people. It's just not a good... I'm doing the same thing, too. So. I'm staring at a bowl of food, and I can't eat it. So... Hey, we go from the winless team to the only unbeaten team in the league. FC Dallas beats Sporting Kansas City 1-0 on a wonderful header by Minor Figueroa in about the 77th minute, I think it was. It was actually a pretty entertaining game. Sporting KC had quite a few chances to score, especially in the second half, and just didn't happen for them, really.
I don't know. I mean, Dallas did look a teeny bit shaky, and I guess it was just bad luck for SKC that they couldn't cash in.
Oh, yeah, certainly. There was plenty of times I sit there going, what are you doing? Like, hello. I mean, they obviously could go forward, but it's just there was some issues back there. That both of them have... I mean, last time they played, it was 0-0, so at least somebody scored in this game, but it almost felt like we're going to get that again.
Well, 13 minutes away, I thought, yeah, it sounds about right, and then all of a sudden, boosh.
Well, we go from Dallas to Atlanta, going on the road and winning, giving Mike Pecky his first defeat as Real Salt Lake manager, and... Man, Rachel, we were singing the praises of Nick Rimando going to the national team. I saw a bunch of articles with, is it time for Nick Rimando? Is he going the other way? He looked bad this entire game.
Yeah, but I have a question. Was he substituted out? Because I only caught the highlights and they didn't say anything. Was he subbed out because he got hurt making that fingertip save? Or because he was playing so bad?
Who knows at that point? The third goal, he looked really bad at that point. But it was also a breakaway, and They probably shouldn't have happened.
And this is why I say, can you entirely blame him? Because look at who you're up against. This is Atlanta. If they decide they want to hang 5 on you, they're going to try, and from time to time, they'll succeed.
Yeah, I mean, well, they RSO had a few chances, but I mean, you get fouled right there on the edge of the box, and the free kick doesn't even hit the bar. Something just, you gotta hit the goal, guys. You gotta, it's gotta go on frame. That's all I could say. I mean, at least Mosifsian got the one to make it 2-1 and make it interesting, but they couldn't get anything after. Atlanta just, it's surprising, honestly, with how young a team they are, and losing one of the DPs that they signed. They're still chugging along.
Yeah, this is why I say they're kind of bringing a new form of offense to MLS. It's kind of like if you've ever seen basketball, if you've ever seen a team coached by Paul Westhead, #Guru of Go, where it's like, we're not really going to care about defense. We're just going to run, attack. We're going to light it up. And if you do the same, fine. It's just that with Atlanta, they've got the attacking down, but they can also, for the most part, defend pretty well, too.
Yeah, I mean, they've got the whole package together, and they play well on the road and at home, so, they're a threat regardless. And I think definitely people that were wondering about, are they overhyping? Now, look, this is just week 8. We got, long season ahead still. Lots of things can happen, but a lot of people were expecting, they're getting overhyped. We're not gonna see this Atlanta team do what they're doing, and so far they're living up to it right now. But let's see what happens in like week 15, and we're still talking about this. Your Orlando team though, they keep winning with the old RSL coach. Cyle Larin keeps scoring goals.
Don't leave, Kyle. We need you.
The more goals he scores, you know what's going to happen.
No, I refuse. No.
Oh, you can't say the T word here.
No.
The T word? Wonder what that is.
Not going to say that word. Not going to say that phrase. Cyle Larin, he's going to keep being awesome. He's going to do great things. He's going to keep scoring goals. Orlando's going to keep winning. Everything will be just fine.
But, I don't know, David Villa might have stole his thunder a little bit. That goal was ridiculous.
And I got to admit, I saw that and I'm like, yeah, I didn't expect him to be stopped the entire match. He kept getting close, and especially breaking through on the left side. So I was like, yeah, he's eventually going to hit pay dirt. And when he did, I was just like, well, damn. Yeah, he still exists.
It got scary a little bit with NYC. They were knocking on that door, but...
Yeah, and man. I expected them to, especially since they were at home, and we talked about their home cooking, but it's just like, we were like, all right, this is how we're going to handle things.
Seriously, like that, the Orlando, I can't think of his name right now, but the Orlando keeper, like, he deserves some major praise. He kept out some big-time shots on several opportunities NYC had. So, and I mean, that's something he's done that plenty of times throughout the season. Definitely, he needs to be getting some all-star consideration.
Black Hole Bednick. I got to start that now.
There you go. We got to start that. So, right now, after the, as soon as you get done listening to this show, go on Twitter, start the #BlackHoleBednick. It needs to be happening right now. I mean, Rachel's like, are we talking about Cyle Larin possibly best forward in the whole league right now? I mean, the dude he does what he's supposed to do.
I would say yeah, and I think he's up there with Clint Dempsey, and I think he's also up there with, and I hate to say this, I really, really hate to say this, but Freddie Montero. I think the three of them are neck and neck for being on top right now.
What do you? I mean, you're a little biased, Erik, but what do you think?
Especially with Montero and Dempsey, I'd probably have to throw Torres a bit of a bone, but I can't argue with those.
Yeah, I mean, it's just he gets everything going for them, other than when Rivas wants to think he can do the whole thing by himself, which showed to not work about every single time he tried to do it.
No, he, as I said, and as we've said, it helped establish a strike partnership. He needs to trust the partnership. Don't be the guy. Don't be the man, because your shots get a little bit wacky when you do.
Are you worried at all the team might suffer some kind of any kind of gelling issue when Kaká comes back, or more like they're going to be even better?
Oh, they're going to suffer an issue. It's going to be a problem with chemistry, but how quickly they resolve it, that's going to be the main thing, and that's what's going to lead to potentially dynamite. Now, I don't know how they would adjust tactically when he does to make things easier, but that, at least that first match or two, that would be fun to watch.
Yeah, you're obviously he's the guy that puts the butts in the seats, right? So I mean, especially at the road games. The home games, they're gonna be fine, but.
Well, I mean, honestly, he was, but I think Kyle's kind of taking that mantle now. So it's like, hey, we're doing just fine, really, without you. So come back when you're 100%. Keep the train rolling.
I mean, that's the positive thing, right? Like when he can just come back when he's ready. You don't have to rush him back because they're doing fine, and I think it motivates him more, right? To make sure he comes back at full stop instead of, all right, let me rush back here and be at 50% just because they need me so bad. So that's good for everything. You're still undefeated at home, and then you get one here at NYC.
Now we're not at all. We're a first place team. A first place team.
None of us said that when we were doing the preview.
No.
We were all like, all right, Orlando, let's hope that they do all right. What do you think is Orlando's big? Is it all about Cyle Larin, Rachel, or is it something else with why Orlando's been this good?
I mean, you got to give credit to Cyle Larin, but I think you got to give credit to Jonathan Spector too, because he's been really holding it up on the defense.
Yeah, I think Iguita's been really good there in the midfield too. Every time he comes in, he puts on steely effort, and again, Bednick has been tremendous back there too. So, just a whole team effort. And you got to give Jason Kreis credit, right? Because everybody was talking about, okay, when he gets his players in, he starts playing the way, or he starts, managing and putting them in their formation. That's going to work, and it's paying dividends right now. So can't hate on what he's doing. I think we're just going to run through the rest of this thing because you had Red Bulls and Houston both win by 2-0 scores. San Jose loses the second end of a 2-game split. Portland wins again. Yeah, Portland wins again, and DC at least gets some goals and draws with New England.
How New England got a 2-0? You know what? I'm going to stop because I'm sober. So, yeah.
Wait, no, we want to hear this rant. Come on.
How does a team like New England, listen, DC United, you were the reason why I came up with the initial iteration of this Stitcher's Nightmares. All right? You always held a place in my heart, especially growing up through some weird times. How now do you, so sloppy and inefficient and trying to get cute, you let a team like New England get a 2-0 lead? What is wrong with you?
At least they came back.
I don't care. It's New England. It's 2-0. You should be doing the opposite. I should be waving an angrily 2x for the fact that they would have to come back to get a draw. No, wrong. Stop. Who are you and what have you done with my DC United? Shame.
That was great. At least you can take some solace that DC are in deep negotiations with Bill Hamid to keep him there.
They better be. Unless he comes and backs up Bednick in Orlando. I wouldn't complain about that either.
No, I think look, yeah, I mean, I get it. You don't want New England getting that 2-0 lead, but you got to give them credit for coming back and getting the draw, though. I mean, at least they didn't quit.
If this were almost any other team, I would have some sort of succor in this. Some sort of comfort, and you would be right. But no. This runs deep, bro. This runs deep.
So are you giving the credit for the comeback or the?
No.
No, I was talking to Rachel. So which one is it? A collapse or a comeback by DC? I mean, in general, when you look at these things, like, are you on the end of they shouldn't have blown it or give it to the other team? Shh.
They shouldn't have blown it. I mean, it just it was bad. I'll put it that way. It was bad. And also, I have a bone to pick with DC United because once again, where is my boy Robbie? Nope. DC United.
You are cutting out.
Yeah, I heard bone to pick, and I was like, "Oh, this is good." But then it was like,
I'm cutting out?
Yeah, you cut out during that whole thing.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, now.
Yes.
Okay, well, here's my bone to pick. Where is my boy Robbie Vincent at? That's all I want. All I want is to see Rob Vincent.
Erik,
but no,
where's he at?
They don't play him.
Somebody needs to start a hashtag play Rob Vincent.
Play Robbie Vincent, please.
Hashtag play Robbie Vincent. Hashtag not my United.
He's like one of the only good things to come out of the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Love you guys on the north side. Love you. But let's get real. He is one of the only good things to come out of the Riverhounds.
Well, hopefully, he'll get to show in Open Cup play or something, and they'll start playing him. But
he better.
Knowing DC United, they'd find a way to mess that up. Hate to break your heart, Rachel.
They're going to get a letter from me.
Angry letter.
Or an angry tweet.
Hey, they're lucky that I don't make a trip up there. They get a lot more than an angry anything from me, except dealing with me angrily in person.
I apologize for the random shouting. Apparently the dog decided to pee on the floor. And not supposed to do that. That dog is... It's one of those, like, he knows, but he's also old. He's like 11 years old. And
Aww.
I think he's getting to that point where he just can't help it now.
Well, hey, better to be interrupted with that than to be interrupted by Candy Crush. It's a long story.
People are still playing Candy Crush?
Yes. You know they made more commercials about that now. Don't ask me why.
Oh, because some other company bought them that has a lot of money, so they can afford to do that. They want that to be happening. So we move on from MLS to the second week of NWSL action. The lifetime game of the week was the debut of the Orlando Pride at home, and they ended up drawing with the Washington Spirit. So Spirit have a point. Well, what you guys got to watch this game. What'd you think?
That should have been a lot higher scoring draw. There were instances where I could swear about 2-3 moments. It's like, where's the other team? Why am I seeing all of one color right this close to the box on the pitch? What happened?
Yeah, I mean, Marta should have definitely had a goal. I think Tom Sermani made the right decision to put her on the bench for the beginning of the match and not have her start. She had only arrived in Orlando the day before, and she had only had one practice session with the team. So, I mean, he did a good job giving her, some time to sit back and relax and see how it's done well, not really how it's done because it's Marta, but just how the area is, how the environment is, all that stuff. I think he put her in at the right time. So really good judgment on Tom Sermani's part.
Absolutely. And if that one ball hadn't gone wide, well, actually more like 2 or 3, then we're talking a potential brace. So, hey, kudos for this decision. And you're right. She got the flow of the game, feel of the crowd, and then it's like, yes, I'm going to do what I do, and this is how it's going to happen.
Yeah, so how do you think how did Marta do in her debut?
I would have to give her, even though she did miss what would have been incredible scoring opportunities, I'm still giving her an A. Really forced the pace. Everybody knew just get the ball to her, especially work the left side near the edge of the box, try to have a supporting run, and it nearly connected on multiple levels.
Anyone else stand out from either team? Did you think Washington looked better than last week?
Oh, Washington looked much better than last week. I think losing Joanna Lohman during the match definitely hurt their confidence, definitely hurt them on the field. But they started to pick up the pieces this week. They knew who to play where. They were a lot better this week.
We always see the dogs are just getting involved on every end.
I'm dog sitting this weekend. Hey, give me a hot second here.
Okay.
It's okay.
No, in the words of one of my favorite radio personalities, shut that dog up! I have been meaning to say that literally for months, so do not apologize and thank you, but honestly, yes, in this seeing my first action, Washington didn't look like a team that lost the way that they did last week. They were very cohesive, and granted, the one advantage they had in the second half, scoring on their set piece, to where Orlando, their first 6 corners, really came up empty. It's a team that's coming together, and I can't quite say yet on the rise, but there's still something there. Still very much something there.
I mean, that's positive, right? Because you don't want there to be like teams that just continually lose. You don't want a Minnesota United on your hands or Philadelphia.
Yeah.
and that's
getting a point.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say, getting a point after a loss like that is good, knowing you had the lead and was really keeping up pressure, although Orlando's goal was equally, I wouldn't say fluky, because there was a good run-up before that, but the fact that you weren't able to completely let down after that and hold on for a 1-1 draw, it shows you're gaining a lot of composure.
Yeah, certainly, and you had more of this happen this week with Chicago, who lost last week. They won. You had North Carolina kept winning because one of those two teams had to do something, with Portland also winning last week. Seattle blew out Houston after they had two terrific goals last week, and then Boston also wins. So, some parity in the NWSL going into week 2 here.
Yeah, I was going to say, welcome to week 2 where nothing's settled yet, and yeah, it's setting up to be a still pretty interesting season.
So what do you what stood out to you from the Seattle blanking Houston like that, Rachel? What happened there?
Ooh. Well, my girl Megan Rapinoe is showing Jill Ellis what's up, and I love it. And I think Jess Fishlock needs a bit of a call to the national team because she's been on fire. And Haley Kottmeyer, the replacement for Hope Solo, not that bad for a young one.
You think she's going to get national team attention now? Or, they still haven't figured that out yet, apparently.
Jill seems pretty set on either Alyssa or Ashlyn, Alyssa Naher or Ashlyn Harris. I think they should bring Haley Kottmeyer in. I think they should give Jane Campbell more of a chance. Although Jane Campbell didn't look too hot against the Reign, but she's a rookie, she's learning. But I don't think it should be just a 2-pony race between Alyssa Nair and Ashlyn Harris. I do think they need to get something settled pretty soon, though. That's a topic for another show.
And I was going to say, how would you be able to get anything settled if you do bring a pretty decent third keeper in? 3-body problems tend to be something of a physician's nightmare.
She'll be fine, though. If you give her that opportunity, though, sometimes that's all they need, that one chance, and you take it by storm, honestly. So Houston looked pretty dominant the last week, and then this week they just... Is Seattle just that much better, or just one of those on the day?
Honestly, I have no idea what it was. Seattle drew with Sky Blue at home.
Right. So
they have 2 home games back-to-back here. It's not like, last week Seattle drew, and then now this week, they're back home. No, they've been home both times. So, yeah, I think it is one of those, Seattle just looked better. But then again, it was also the Dash's first time on the road, all that fun jazz. So, who knows?
Chicago, they lost last week. They come in here and they beat a KC team that, obviously Amy Rodriguez goes down. That's a huge blow. But they come in and win. Who stood out for the Red Stars, you think?
Well, I love her very much, but not Christian Press, because she missed a penalty kick. I believe it was a penalty kick, and she just was, I think she missed, had a really bad free kick or something. She was just really off against FC Kansas City. And FC Kansas City, you can see that they definitely missed Amy Rodriguez. I think when you had her and Sydney LaRue playing together, it just clicked. And then their lineup was just having one forward up top with Sydney LaRue And so she was kind of running around doing everything. She didn't know exactly where to go, I guess.
That's interesting. Erik, did you get to watch anything else besides the Orlando game, or?
Unfortunately, no, because this was my, I guess, monthly weekend to where it's like, hey, I'm going to run around with my chicken, like a chicken with my head cut off, and but between that and trying to be able to catch up on all the NWSL action, trying to deal with the Go90 app, which my phone has already been having issues, it wasn't sadly not meant to be.
So if Orlando makes the championship game, are we all going?
Yes.
Yep.
Orlando at home. Yeah, now they get to find out that Orlando is going to host the 2017 NWSL Championship. It's the new stadium. Makes total sense. Plus, you get the chance of Orlando possibly being in that championship game.
And it's a 2-hour drive for me, and I possibly have connections as far as lodging. I definitely have connections as far as shenanigans. So, yeah, yes.
That's all that matters.
My dad has a thing for driving down south a lot, and since I'm from Pittsburgh, it's like about a 20-hour drive. My parents are actually currently on their way down to Florida, hence the dog barking. But, yeah, I'd be down for that. I think I could convince my dad to come down. I just have to leave him at Camper World for a few hours.
That could be arranged, I guess, right? The game's only 2 hours long. So... we'd have to figure out how to get tickets.
Shout out to my dad.
Leave him at Camper World for a couple hours during the game. I'm sure I could find some time for some sort of male bonding for him if it's a weekend thing. I'd have this.
There you go. Erik has it all settled. We just got to figure out how to get tickets.
Yeah, right. That... not my best. No.
Well, I mean, as long as they go on sale at a certain good time frame, I think, we might be able to all swing it or something. Hopefully they don't sell out quickly.
We got this.
We can get it done. So, North Carolina, the outright leader after week 2, they get another win, beating Portland 1-0. What'd you see here? I mean, North Carolina now got 6 points on everybody else. Seattle in there with 4, and everybody there's a big old log jam with 3 for everybody else until you get to the losers.
I love Dabina. I love her. She's, I wrote about it. I said, Marta got so much love. The Brazilians are getting so much love this weekend in the NWSL. Marta bringing quite a gathering in Orlando at the airport and at the stadium. And man, Dabina had the people to their feet on Saturday night with that bicycle kick, which went wide. Man, that would have been a goal. But the goal that she did have, that was really, I was surprised that Lynn Williams or Jessica McDonald, they were working their tails off that whole game. I was surprised they didn't get the goal. But I was happy to see Dabina get it because she was working really, really hard for it.
So, Portland looked really good last week. They come in here, they lose, don't score a goal. What happened? North Carolina just that good?
I don't know. North Carolina, the last thing I want to say about them is, why in the world would you have Samantha Mewis, a midfielder, a defensive midfielder at that, take a penalty kick? I get it. She does have a good couple. She does take some good shots. But why would you not have one of your forwards take that? They could have been up 2-0 in that match. Instead, they had Sam Mewis miss the shot. Anyway, for Portland, I'm a little confused with Portland right now. They've got all this talent, all these different players from all these different national teams. They've got 5 U.S. national team players, and they're not clicking. They had the same lineup, the exact identical lineup this week as they did last week. And they won 2-0 last week. I don't think that North Carolina is that better. And also, I don't think it's that because that was North Carolina's first time even playing on that field. They have not even practiced on that field yet. So, not very domestic territory, so to say, for them. I don't know what Portland's deal is, but with all of that talent that they have, they need to start clicking, and they need to do it somehow.
Finally, you have Boston, who lost last week. They get a win, beating Sky Blue. What did you see here with Boston?
That all the credit that Rose Lavelle gets is completely deserved. She didn't score the goal. That was Natasha Dowie. But she had the assist, and it was a really, really good assist. And everything, she's like Christian Pulisic. All of the hype that she gets is so deserved and so in the right.
Speaking of Christian Pulisic, did you hear that? There's been so many teams talking about him, but Christian Pulisic might have a national team partner if things go right. Bobby Wood getting interest from Dortmund.
Wow, I did not hear that.
Yeah, they're.
That would be pretty stellar because Dortmund just got that kid from Gladbach. I see it right now. Mahmoud Dahoud and Bobby Wood. That would be quite the. Now I'm scared because my team is Gladbach and I don't want that to happen because we would always lose.
Uh-oh. But it would be great for the national team, though, get those two getting to play with each other up front, at least.
But then again, it might be an Aaron Johansson situation in the stance that Aaron Johansson got targeted by Werder Bremen, and since Werder Bremen has all these attackers, he doesn't play. Bobby Wood, he would be with a Marco Reus. I cannot say his name, but Pierre-Emerick. I cannot say.
They basically want Bobby Wood to be his backup. So
yeah, if that would be tough. Aaron Johansson, he's probably going to be leaving Werder Bremen. You don't want that to happen. I think they said Johansson has played in the last like 80 something minutes in the last 10 games or something.
Oof, that's not good.
Yeah, not good. And he's healthy too, which never happens.
Yeah, right when he's healthy, he's not playing. That's come on, Werder Bremen, you gotta get him on the field, get him out there. Sky Blue, what's up, man? They get the point last week, but they haven't looked good the 2 games.
And that's because they solely rely on Kelly O'Hara in the attack, and you can't just rely on one person in the attack. What is it that Erik likes to say about having one forward up top?
You need 2 strikers. You need them.
Sky Blue, listen to Erik.
There you go, Sky Blue. 2 strikers, damn it. So that's going to do it for us talking about NWSL, but
and some Bundesliga.
and some Bundesliga, because you got to mention when Bobby Wood is being targeted by Dortmund, you got to talk about it. So the last thing we're going to cover here is this MLS expansion, sort of where we're at now, sort of thing. And we talked about Phoenix last week. We talked about Didier Drogba, you get signed to Phoenix, all this stuff. He's got a ownership stake in the team and everything. The thing people aren't talking about is that Phoenix is one of the only cities that doesn't have to deal with the state, the city, the county, anything. All they have to do is get MLS to go, all right, Phoenix, you guys are Team 25 or 26. Because they already got the stadium. They got Mr. Drogba. They've got one of the biggest. I think it's the biggest TV market, or the second biggest TV market, out of the expansion teams. seems like, especially after St. Louis did not get their stadium deal, which apparently that happened because St. Louis County was not in the voting area. If St. Louis County was in the voting area, it probably would have passed. I don't ever understand how this stuff works with this. Whatever county you guys decide is not going to get included into this thing, and who is and who isn't. It's so weird because when we had this thing go on with the Chargers, where they wound up having to move to LA, like we have a Chargers fan that comes on our football show all the time, and she talked about if certain counties would have been in that vote, which they took out on purpose so that they wouldn't get the vote, might have been a different situation. So I feel bad for the people in St. Louis that actually wanted the team here, but it's kind of sad to hear that apparently their idea now is that St. Louis may never ever get an MLS team now because of this decision.
Well, first it's ownership, and now you can blame the government. Good job. Because especially St. Louis, we talked about it, good Midwestern town, a very historical soccer base, and MLS kind of played off of that. But when you have politics enter the situation, these sorts of things happen. And I live in a place that has like a unified city-county situation, so we don't have to deal with this crap, but I feel bad for the places that do, because it's just more opportunities for things to go wrong under the table. Now, granted, it would have been a very ugly situation simply because of the deal with the stadium, but to have it not even get to that point is kind of pathetic. And to also touch on Phoenix, Boston's Gourmet Pizza, you don't have any idea how hard it was for me to find your Twitter handle to tweet at you that I have ideas. All this time and I've heard nothing? Shame on you.
The feud continues between Pizza and Erik. This is great, seriously.
I mean, especially at work, no less, where I had all kinds of eyes on me. But no, I still took the time to do it right and offer my services and to wonder what you guys are doing and to see about the different locations you're opening in the process. And no, all of that apparently for naught. This is what happens when Big Pizza gets a hold of the little guy.
Dun, dun, dun. I'm sorry, Erik.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe this is just a sign and an omen that they shouldn't get the team to begin with, so there's solace in that.
So I should mention that we're referencing an article here by Soccer America that kind of gives a little update on where all the cities stand out of the 12 expansion teams, and does a pretty good job of kind of filling you in if you haven't been paying attention since the last time that this was sort of a thing. I know you guys both read this. Is there a city now that you kind of, after looking at this and after reading it, you go, man, I didn't think they had a chance before, but now, I don't know. It's a race to who's the 4 teams, and what makes me laugh is it's so Detroit that they're waiting for a jail. It's either a jail to get reconstructed, or hey, we're trying to get a thing, Rock Ventures owned by Dan Gilbert, so that they can build a jail next to the soccer stadium.
Not a jail, a criminal justice complex. There's apparently a difference. And
it's
again,
the political way of saying jail.
Well, it said different detention facilities and a courthouse and a prosecutor's office and a sheriff's office. That's not just a jail we're talking about.
That's true.
Not to mention, it's still, what did I say before? It's still Detroit. This is a typical Detroit move right here. I'd expect nothing less.
It just makes me laugh that we're like, we need to get Oh, and who is it? The Wayne County executive says that finishing the jail is more important.
Well, again, it's Detroit.
Whatever. This makes me laugh. I like the situation that either of the Carolina cities are in, especially after they repealed the bathroom bill. I'd really like to see either Charlotte or Raleigh get one of the spots.
And also Nashville. What do you think you're doing? I mean, you talk about, cities and you think coming out of nowhere. Nashville? Why? I mean, granted, I love Nashville, even though I'm not a big fan of country music. I can just go hop, skip, and a jump to the mountains and get all the moonshine I want. I'm fine with that. I can reconcile with that. And of course, I can also go right to Lynchburg, hook myself up with some Jack Daniels for the trip home. I'm fine with that. But Nashville, the fact that you still have a hockey team astounds me as is, and you're doing this? What gives? Am I missing something? Did I not get an email? What's going on? Just no. Come on now. No.
Do you have a problem with Nashville, Rachel? Do we need to pile on Nashville?
Long story.
This is great. I don't have a problem with Nashville gets a team. At least they're doing something to make it happen. I like what San Antonio is doing too. They seem to be progressive.
I will give it, the only reason I like Nashville is because the Predators totally swept the Chicago Blackhawks. That's the only reason I'm okay with them.
My mom was very disappointed in that result, and I have a friend whose fiance is actually happy on that result. So I really don't have a dog in that fight.
I have a friend that's a big Blackhawks fan, so I don't feel for him. The Blackhawks have won enough already. You got the Cubs, like, really? What?
Well, okay, but Sean, to be fair, when the Blackhawks won in 2010, they broke a near half-century drought. The Cubs went over a century, so you got to let them have something.
The White Sox broke a drought too. I mean, apparently that's just Chicago. They just break droughts all the time when they win.
Exactly, and look at what the Bulls are doing now, which that would be delicious.
That'd be crazy, though. All they needed was Derrick Rose to get out of town, and they start playing better. The guy that was holding them down the whole time, Derrick Rose.
Yeah, well, I've got a take on that I'll probably cover on Point of Viewer now that you brought it up. It won't be friendly.
Oh, goodness. So, are you guys sold on this Soccer City from San Diego?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hashtag Footy McFooty Face. God, I want one of those t-shirts.
I still think with St. Louis out, I think Cincy's definitely going to get something.
I think they have to. Like, they're getting the biggest crowds at their games. So, that has to count for something here.
It did for Orlando, and I think it can work for Cincinnati as well.
And they've also talked about building a soccer stadium if MLS doesn't like the Nippert Stadium deal. But when you're getting more fans for your game than the Reds are getting for their game,
okay,
saying something.
No, let's be fair.
The Reds suck, but yeah.
Yes, it's the Reds. All right. So
God, remember when the Reds actually had a comeback for a little bit, and then it just died quickly.
Yeah, because they realized, hey, we're really not supposed to be winning. So, yeah. Bye-bye, Dusty Baker. He's good, literally. He's good for one, maybe two good seasons. If you can get any more out of him than that, more power to you.
So how do you like the Tampa Bay situation, Erik?
Well,
if Miami can't get it together, I want Tampa Bay to have a team.
So do I, and at least they're actually doing something with Al Lang, which I really wish the Rays had done something as well, because that would be a pretty epic combination ballpark that they would have had. And how cool is that? They would have been right really in the center of the area, rather than just being way off in the ghetto. But personally, I think it's really the easiest situation. Now, granted, there could be potential political upheaval in that area, so keep an eye on that. But if things stay stable enough and you get the right people behind the team who care, I personally think go past the 18,000 seats, put it to about 30. And again, Rays, have your design for your stadium like they did, which would have been awesome. And that could also work for the Rowdies there too. That could curry a lot of favor in both leagues, if you ask me.
Seems like at least the ownership is willing to pay. He paid for the referendum to happen because you have to have the city to okay this because of the bayfront where the stadium is.
And that's why I say there's a lot of potential political upheaval, because you've got mayoral elections coming up in Tampa, and I think with St. Pete, they're not too far off as well. So they're still not out of the woods, but there's somebody in that town, aside from the Bucks, that are willing to spend something and actually care. And again, maybe if he brings Rays ownership into it, he fits a good chunk of the bill like he wants to. They fit a good chunk of the bill, so that way they can get Manfred off of their back so he can focus on expansion like he should. I think that area, you could get it popping.
Yeah, I mean, Sacramento's waiting for governor, the whole government elections as well in November for that. Apparently MLS is waiting for them. Like, nothing's going to happen on this just because of Sacramento's elections that need to happen to figure out whether they're going to get their plan or not. Oh yeah, you talked about the whole I don't want another city or I don't want another team in California thing.
Not if it's going to be Sacramento. If it's going to be San Diego, I can live with. But I don't know. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's the city. Maybe I didn't watch enough of the series The Mentalist. But Sacramento's just kind of there.
Let's just hate on the city.
I'm serious, and I mean, they got the Kings and the Maloofs, and more power to them and this and that, but other than that, they're just... Okay, other than that, and their minor league team, the Sacramento Bats, they're just kind of there.
Well, I mean, the investment people can't agree on anything either, so that's not good.
That's because they realize Sacramento's just kind of there. I don't know
why go through all the trouble
of
having Sac Republic FC there if you're not gonna... Their whole intention of having Sacramento Republic FC was, let's get it into MLS.
Yeah, but that's because they're kind of overachieving and shooting for the moon.
I agree with you, but, let's focus on being good in one league first.
Exactly, and let's focus on being in a league and it's pretty comfortable with the city that's just there. USL's fine with that, as they should be.
Yeah, certainly. I think we kind of covered all the teams in some form or another. Or the cities, I should say. Indiana just looks like that's not going to happen at all. So,
as well as it shouldn't. I'm sorry. Indiana, you're backwards. You're too backwards for my tastes.
Why?
Shall we explain about gubernatorial policies, or shall we explain that even Midwesterners don't talk about Indiana unless they're doing anything in reference to basketball? I mean, if you want me to throw that on the list of point of viewer, I will gladly provide an in-depth explanation.
No, the wrong podcast for that, I think.
Yeah. Just trust me when I say that whole damn state is backwards. They will even admit it's backwards.
Rachel, you had the final word. Is Indiana backwards?
Well, never been there, so I can't really say.
Well, where is it? I have my best friend has lived there for many years, but I don't have him on here to cover for Indiana, so we're gonna have to just leave it at whatever Erik said. That's what it is right now. But I think that like I said, there's not a whole lot of news going on. We kind of covered a few things while we were talking about the games and such. This was sort of the big news item that I saw as we were getting ready for things. But hopefully next week. Oh, and congratulations to the U17 U.S. team and Mexico team. Mexico, they both whooped El Salvador and Jamaica. They were clashing against each other on Wednesday, which we'll see how that goes. But, perhaps they'll just end in a 1-1 draw or something and qualify each other for the... Not even have to worry about what happens in the El Salvador.
We're not going to have a repeat of West Germany and Austria in 1982. All right, someone's going to try to win that match. No. If it happens in a draw like that, no, I will complain.
Well, unless you have NWSL on the Deportes Network, you can't watch it because that's the only game they're not putting on Facebook out of all the games in the entire CONCACAF thing. Mexico and U.S. is not being put on Facebook for people to watch, so I feel bad if you wanted to watch that game.
Who dropped the ball on that one? Because
probably UDN wanted to make sure they got all the ratings.
Yeah, but what about the people that don't have that network? People like me who even upgraded to badass cable equipment. I still don't get that network.
Well, did you upgrade your package? Because I have X1 too, but I still have the limited.
Oh no, they upgraded our package too. They gave us more movie channels, and I've had the sports pack the entire time. But that's
not part of the sports pack.
No, and I don't know if it's really part of the international lineup or what. Because I don't.
It's part of the. I think you have to have preferred.
I should have preferred something with how much I still pay a month.
Gee, yeah, tell me about it. They overcharge for that so bad.
Yeah, but, in Google Fiber, I mean, really? Come on. You're going into Nashville, or supposed to be. That should be enough.
I thought they just, killed it. Or they're not.
It's a very long story, and if I could drive to Louisville myself and smack Papa John in the face just to make myself feel better, I would.
So he hates on Boston pizza, and then he goes and wants to smack Papa John. What are we going to start?
I wanted to smack him for a variety of reasons.
We're going to start a thing with...
I think you just broke me.
Yes, okay. To be fair, like I said, I wanted to smack him in the face.
Let's get pizza and Domino's in here, too. Let's just...
Hey,
no.
Domino's.
Domino's and Pizza Hut are my boys, all right?
Okay.
They can do no wrong in my mind, but I wanted to smack Papa John in the face for years, just on general principle beforehand. And then when I heard about the city of Louisville and some kind of lawsuit issue with Google over Google Fiber, and that's what's killing it, I would drive there to smack him in the face because I feel like somehow deep down he's a part of it.
Wait, what the hell does Papa John care about whether Google Fiber gets in?
I don't know. And if he does, then hey, more reason to smack him in the face. And if he doesn't, I would still feel better.
So, how do you feel about Little Caesars?
Little Caesars is actually pretty cool, especially their deep dish.
I like their smokehouse thing. I've had about like 6 of those. They're great.
I'm not comfortable having their smokehouse. I don't
Why
trust
not?
them for that for some reason.
The sauce is what makes the thing. I've had it a couple of times where they decided to put more cheese and sauce, and it just doesn't taste the same. But all right. I mean, there's also one like inside where I work, so that also kind of contributes to the thing. But,
also, the owner, may he rest in peace, and hopefully he'll look down on Little Caesars Arena and watch the Red Wings do something. I'm not going to root for them, but still.
Still makes me sad that they're not going to be playing in the Joe anymore.
I know.
Just, it's like historic.
I know! Like Barry Melrose said, the old winning buildings. But again, it's a topic for another day. Makes me want to cry and eat potato chips.
Well, at least he didn't say eat ice cream. So.
Nah, I don't have any more ice cream. I have a bunch of cookies, though.
Do you do the cookies and milk?
If it's strawberry milk, yes.
Wait, what? Wait, what? Okay, we're getting way off topic here. So let's well, that's a question for off the podcast. So thank you for joining us this week where we talked about a lot of things that weren't soccer, along with soccer talk. We might be back.
There shouldn't be slow news days. This is what happens with us, and I'm only taking partial responsibility.
I did ask the questions, so. But hey, you got to keep having conversation on this thing, or it's boring. So even if we get off the soccer, you can ask questions anyway. So, if you enjoyed what you heard today when we did or did not talk soccer, you can hit the subscribe button on whatever podcast thing that you listen to us on, iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, Google Play, which I realized we were not on until last week. And now we are on. And you can also hit us up on YouTube. You can go on WTMnet.com where we make the podcast posts, and you can also see the other content that we have there. Rachael writes wonderful things on her blog, Kicking It with McKriger, which then get put on WTMnet.com as well. And, always appreciate that. It gives us great content. And, of course, always subscribe to that WTN Network where you can get great podcasts like Erik's Point of Viewer that you can go listen to. And, of course, all the other stuff that I do there as well. So until either the midweek or next week, enjoy your soccer, people, and we will see you around.
Peace.
See ya.
The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.